Normally, when new cruise ships leave the shipyards in Europe, they sail across the Atlantic and then into New York Harbor with lots of pomp and ceremony. When your ship is named after history's greatest polar seafaring explorer, however, you might choose to do it a bit of a different way. Retracing the route of its namesake, the MS Roald Amundsen left Europe and sailed north towards Greenland and then across the Northwest Passage on Canada's Arctic coast to Alaska, then down the west coast to make its North American inaugural call.
So we're super excited to be boarding the Roald Amundsen, the world's first hybrid electric-powered cruise ship, and we're here. Although I thought it would be a little bit bigger than this. Be pretty good for a pool or a pond, though, really, if you think about it. That looks all right.
In reality, the Roald Amundsen is 21,000 tons and holds 500 guests.
We were lucky enough to be invited on board the Roald Amundsen on its inaugural voyage here in North America. So we're in Vancouver today, and this is the world's first hybrid electric cruise ship. So it's going to reduce emissions and CO2 fuel consumption by 20%. But it's not just fuel cells and solar panels that are innovations on this ship. They've done a whole bunch of really, really interesting things. Let's go take a look. So one of the things with Hurtigruten is they don't want any non-reusable plastics on board the ship, so they give us a water bottle that everybody gets in the room. We get to take it home with us as well. But this is one of the filling stations that you find on board the ship to fill up your water bottle whenever you're going ashore, even if you just want water during the day.
Hurtigruten takes sustainability very seriously with an expressed corporate goal of becoming the world's first carbon-neutral cruise line.
There's reminders everywhere on board the ship of its Scandinavian heritage. So here we've got Roald Amundsen, the namesake of the ship, and his main competitor for the trip to the South Pole, Robert Falcon Scott. So these ships are built for looking outside. So as you can see, there's all kinds of things to look out here, or all kinds of spaces for us to be able to see what's going on outside the ship.
The Roald Amundsen is purposely built for polar regions, so will service Alaska in the summer of 2020, as well as the Northwest Passage. Between now and then, she'll visit Chile, Patagonia, Antarctica, the Falkland Islands, and in repositioning times, she'll sail through Mexico, the Caribbean, and then to Canada New England coast. She has all outside cabins with over 50% balconies. She is an expedition ship, but a comfortable one with a gym, a wellness center, an infinity pool, and some hot tubs.
So we even have a gym and a spa on board. We'll go check out the gym first. It's all kinds of equipment. And there's even some lovely pictures to look at while you're on the treadmill. Okay, we're going to go take a look in at the spa. There's three treatment rooms. Yeah, okay, let's go take a look. So I'm assuming I would get a massage in this room, and again, very much done with the Scandinavian design. We've got the wool blankets. Very nice.
There's a science center with microscopes and other equipment for total immersion when you're traveling.
So this is where those of us that missed some science classes in high school get to come and play a little bit of catch up, maybe some homework. So this is the auditorium. As you can see, they've got some great big image screens back here for when they have lectures and whatnot during the your expedition day. Something just happened. Anyway, so it's a kind of a cool space. We attended a lecture here last night that was done in this space with lots of cool images in the background. And they'll even offer simultaneous translation services because there's a lot of people on board that of course don't speak English.
And even though this is an expedition ship, you're not going to be deprived of good food and beverage options. There's 3 restaurants on board and a lounge for your drinks of choice.
And again, mostly outside tables. Every table has a view of the of outside. And the stuff, again, is all finished in Scandinavian design. So it's not all science and expedition on board these ships. There's actually entertainment. I might even play a couple of numbers myself. So after a long day on expeditions and visiting penguins and being out on zodiac boats and kayaking, might be time for a glass of wine.
Yeah, it sounds like the place that most of their stuff is supposed to be like a
Well, not sure I've ever seen this before. This is a 7-deck high image screen, and it's in the main atrium here on the Roald Amundsen. And I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite this big before. 7 decks.
And just because most of Roald Amundsen's voyages are in polar regions doesn't mean you don't want to go outside. There's an infinity pool and a hot tub and an outdoor gym.
And maybe a swim in the infinity pool when it's, 10 or 15 degrees below zero in a polar region. And this was is the forward observation deck at the very front of deck 7. So you can imagine, again, if you're plunging through ice in the Arctic or the Antarctic, you could be standing right out here. Usually there's certainly in the Northwest Passage, they would have had a Canadian Coast Guard icebreaker vessel in front of them, and you could stand out here and watch the ice fall away as this vessel follows through. So for those that don't want to use the indoor gym, there's an outdoor running track up on deck 11, and they've also got outdoor fitness gear right over here with all the appropriate instructions as to how you might actually use that equipment.
And many of us on this side of the Atlantic Ocean may never have heard of Roald Amundsen, but besides being the first to get to the South Pole, the first to travel the Northwest Passage, and the first confirmed visitor to the North Pole, he had a vision at the age of 10 that is finally being realized 91 years after his death. In my imagination, I created an electric ship that could break through all kinds of ice, that nice and elegantly, fearful and irresistibly could sail through the Arctic Oceans straight to the pole.